Hello everyone, my name's Dave Tong, I'm a storyteller, and I've got a story for you today that's really a warning about greed during these troubling times. For I want you to picture a city or a town or maybe even the village where you live. Choose the place that pleases you most. But for me it's got to be Norwich. There's the market long ago. Crowded all is hustle and bustle. You can hear children squealing with delight as they play with the pigs and the dogs in the streets. You smell the air and you can smell freshly baking bread, herbs and spices being sold there from other lands. But a month has gone by. Turn around and all is not well. For where once there was hustle and bustle, now the weeds grow tall through the cracks in the marketplace. Where once you would have heard children laughing, now all you can hear is wailing and the sobs of grief. And where once you would have smelt freshly baking bread, all that can be smelt is the rotten stench of death. For the plague had come to the city. No one knew what caused it. Some said it was the wrath of God in heaven above punishing us for our many sins. Others said it was fumes coming from beneath the surface. And because no one knew what caused it, no one knew how to stop it. And so it was, now the plague was upon them. Some they hid in the churches praying, others hid in the alehouse, drinking their woes and worries away. And this is a story about three foolish youths, for now the plague was upon them. There they sat all day in the alehouse, drinking their woes and worries away, playing at dice and cards, swearing in outrageous forms. Well, as they sat there drinking and swearing and playing in dice and cards, they heard a distant drum. And between the beats upon the drum they heard someone calling out, "Bring out your dead! Bring out your dead!" And all three saw a corpse being carted to the grave. All three desired to know who it was, and the alehouse boy. He told him it was their friend who had died upon the very bench where they now sat. And as he sat there making merry, said the lad, a softly treading thief named Death came and stole a life from him. It was Death the thief, says he, who steals a life from all eventually. Old and young, rich and poor, all will be the victims of his particular crimes. The three foolish youths pondered upon the lad's words. Death the thief, they thought, Death the thief. Hold on, they thought, if we were caught thieving, we would be punished for stealing. And so should not Death be punished? For does he not steal a life of men as if it was no more than a few base coins in a poor man's purse? And as they pondered these thoughts, they drank some more. And as they drank some more, their anger like their foolishness grew. Anger at the death of their friend. Anger at Death the thief. All three drew their knives, brought them down into the bench where their friend had died. All three swore an oath that they would kill Death, that they would put an end to his thieving ways. And so it was they set off on their foolish quest. And it was a very foolish quest indeed, for they did not know where Death came from, or what he looked like for that matter. But they hadn't gone far when they met an old man, leaning upon a staff, coming the other way towards him, and as he got close he said, "God bless and keep me, gentlemen." But their reply was less kind. For all three looked upon the old man with suspicion. For they thought to themselves, how come an old man such as he is still alive, when so many young people have died of the plague? And so they asked him. "Old man," says they. "Yes," says he. "Old man," says they, "how come you have not yet perished of the foul pestilence which is upon the land?" For that's how they spoke long ago. "Ah, believe me," said the old man, "I long to die." He said, "My bones ache, my heart aches. I do that whenever I reach down to tie up my boots. Often I beat upon the earth and ask Mother Earth to take me, but she won't. I'm stuck here still, whether I like it or not." The three foolish youths did not believe him. Still they looked upon the old man with suspicion. They thought to themselves, one as old as he must know Death. Perhaps he was Death's spy seeking out his next victim. And so they asked him. "Old man," says they. "Yes," says he. "Old man," says they, "it is Death we seek, so tell us now where he resides." The old man's dull eyes flashed suddenly brightly. "Ah, so you seek Death, do you?" says he. "Well, I'll tell you now I've seen him. All you need do to find Death is simply follow the crooked road to the oak tree yonder, and there you will find him waiting." All three drew their knives, all three ran towards the tree. All three ran towards their destiny. But when they got to the crooked oak, there was no sign of death. Instead, piled high round its roots was toilet roll. They had never seen so much bum wipe in their life. They rolled in it, they cast it in the air, and they went, woohoo! And imagined how they would use it. They thought, no longer shall we use cabbage leaves or rhubarb for that matter. We shall use the soft white stuff. We shall use it to wipe our backsides, wipe our noses, even clean out our ear holes, although not necessarily in that order. Well, so excited, so happy were they thinking about how much they would be able to wipe their backsides that they quite forgot their sworn oath to punish death. But know this, death had not forgotten them, for the sun was still high in the sky. How could they move all of that bum wipe without others claiming it for their own? And so they decided they would wait until nightfall, until none but the vilest hoarder was around. But waiting all day, well, it can be hungry and thirsty work. And so they drew straws to see who would go to the local supermarket to stock up on beans and other tinned goods, and maybe some pasta as well. And as it happened, it was the youngest one who went, for it was he who drew the shortest straw. And no sooner had he gone than the other two fell to talking. And the one says to the other, he said, what about all that bum wipe, eh? I'm going to spend my share, or use it for wiping me bum, for wiping me nose, even cleaning me ears. But not necessarily in that order. But then the other one said, what if we could keep all of that bum wipe to just us two? We'd have even more roll to use for wiping our bums, wiping our noses and wiping our ears, although not necessarily in that order. But how, says the other. And the second he said, we are two and two are stronger than one. How would it be when our young friend returns? We leap upon him as if making sport, having a bit of rough and tumble, but then we draw our knives and we kill him dead. The two had been taken by greed. But know this, my friend, trains come by when you don't really want them. Hang on, it's coming. So I'll carry on for a minute. Greed is disease like spreads like the plague. Here it comes. See, even digital storytelling can go wrong every now and again if you're unpracticed like me. Greed is a disease much like the plague. It spreads very easily. For the youngest one, the one going to town, he was thinking, what about all that bum wipe, eh? I'm going to use my share on wiping my bum, wiping my nose, even cleaning out my ears, although not necessarily in that order. But then he stopped and thought, hang on, wait a minute. What about if I could keep all of that bum wipe for myself? I'd have even more roll to use on wiping my bum, wiping my nose and even cleaning my ears, although not necessarily in that order. And to that end he went to an apothecary, what you lot would call a chemist today, and upon the excuse of needing to kill some rats, he brought a poison. And it was a goodly strong brew, for as the apothecary told him, one small drop the size of a grain of wheat, it would kill anyone in less a while than it takes to run a mile. Now, it actually takes me quite a long time to run a mile, but you get the idea. Happy with a poison brew, next he went to the supermarket, he fought through the crowds, finally he managed to get some bread, that was all. Then he managed to get 3 bottles of wine. I think it was non-alcoholic wine, so that's why it was still on the shelf. And then, hiding in a dark alleyway where none could see his shame, he uncorked 2 of the bottles, he uncorked the poison, he poured the poison into them, he recorked the bottles, and he returned to the great oak tree. Well, what more can I say? There was no going back, the die had been cast, for no sooner did the youngest of the 3 return than the others leapt upon him, as if making sport. But then they drew their knives and they killed him dead. They went, like that. But killing your friend can be hungry and thirsty work. And so it was, they ate the bread, they drank the non-alcoholic wine, the poisoned non-alcoholic wine, and both of them suffered terrible, terrorizing, agonizing deaths. The murderers were murdered by an already murdered man. Make sense of that if you can. But know this, it was death they had sought, and he had indeed been waiting for them at the roots of the great oak tree. For although they found not death, not he, death found them, and he claimed all three. Thank you for listening to my tale, and everyone go safe. Bye-bye.